the challenges in the Middle East, the training mission of Hamas, that pushing Arab world, the chaos in African continent. We are the part of all this war. Europe don't speak about support to Ukraine. You support yourself. Giving us money or giving us weapon, you support yourself. Ukrainians are fighting for the world.
This is my video update on this Tuesday morning, January the 2nd. Let's talk about some news, and let's start things off with Elensky's interview with the neocon publication, The Economist. And what an interview it was to start the new year. And I have to tell you this, Elensky, he does not look so good. He looks like he is in really bad shape. But he told The Economist that if the collective West, if Europe wants to support Europe, then it should give money to Ukraine, money and weapons to Ukraine. Elensky said, you support yourself, then give us money. That was basically Elensky's sales pitch. You want to support you support you. You do this by giving me money. You take care of you by giving me money. This is how it works. You take care of yourself by giving me money. Oh boy. So look, Elensky, he's basically saying that it's Ukraine that is on the front line, that is fighting for the collective West, and they're the ones that are fighting the Putin. And so if the collective West wants to keep its power, and this is really a sales pitch when you think about it, it's a sales pitch to the globalist elite class. That's really who he's pitching it to the neocons, to the neolibs. If you want to preserve your power and your hegemony, then you have to give Ukraine money, because we're the ones that are fighting the Russians. So that was Zelensky's sales pitch to the globalist elite class. We're on the front lines fighting the Putin, so give me money. Give me money, give me weapons if you want to support you. That was his sales pitch. So Elensky also said that Putin is an animal. He is an animal. Let me get you the direct quote, and I'll actually play you the video as well. He said that he, Putin, feel it like an animal because he is an animal and likes the feeling of blood. And he will eat you totally with all your EU, NATO, freedom, democracy. Forget about it. Forget about it. Forget about it. Oh boy. So he said that Putin is like an animal. He is an animal. He is like an animal because he is an animal and likes the feeling of blood. Let's play the video. Let's play the video for you guys to watch.
It's not our position, this weakness, and he feel it like animal, because he is animal, and it's like feeling of the blood. And that's why he will feel his strongness, and he will eat you totally with all your EU, NATO, freedom, democracy. Forget about it. That's why I don't see any signals about peace.
So, yeah, Putin, he is an animal. He likes the feeling of blood, and he will eat you. He will eat the European Union. He will eat NATO. He will eat freedom and democracy. That is the Putin. Forget about it. Forget about it. Forget about your EU, NATO, democracy, freedom. Forget about it because the Putin's coming to eat it. He like animal. He is like an animal. He will eat you like like a steak, like a big steak, and you put pepper and salt and maybe some mustard. You know, the really hot, spicy mustard. I like the hot, spicy mustard. Yes, it is like a steak, and Putin takes steak, he cuts steak, and he eats steak. Steak is EU, steak NATO. Putin cuts steak, eats steak, steak NATO. And Putin like blood. He like vampire. He is like who's these famous vampire like Dracula. Putin like Dracula. Yes, yes. He is like Putin is like Tom Cruise in that movie where they interview Dracula, interview vampire. Putin, Tom Cruise, and he suck your neck. This is Putin. He must be stopped. Now give me money. Oh boy. What a start to 2024. And you can see the expression on this lady that's interviewing him, this economist journalist. She's like trying to not bust out and laugh, you know? She's like don't laugh. Don't laugh. Be serious. This is a serious interview. This is a serious interview. She's like, oh man. Elensky's not doing too well. He is not doing too well. He is in panic mode. You know, there has to be someone in the Biden White House that understands the more Elensky talks, the worse things get. I mean, if I could give the Biden White House one piece of advice with regards to Elensky, it would just be to just tell Elensky to just shut up, to not talk, to not open his mouth. The more he talks, the more he travels and he meets world leaders or gets in front of parliaments or does TV interviews, the worse it gets. I mean, the worse it gets. He's got like that Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris effect to him. You know, the more they talk, the more people just they tune out, man. They just tune out. They say this is crazy. It's that Hillary Clinton effect that Elensky has. So, you know, if the White House needs to do one thing in 2024 to repair some of the damage that Elensky took in 2023, they need to just get Elensky to just be quiet. Just be quiet. Written statements. Get the script writers in DC to prepare statements that are published on social media. Like written statements, written down statements that you post on social media, and just leave it there. Just leave it there. But Elensky, he also said during this interview that Ukraine's goal remains to isolate Crimea. He said that is still the goal of Ukraine. But right now, in 2024, Ukraine's going to focus on its defense. An admission from Elensky that Ukraine is losing. I mean, you know, that's just flat out said it. We're going to focus on our defense, which means that we tried to go on the offensive. We got smacked, and now we have to pull back. And the goal is still to isolate Crimea. How delusional can you get? He said that they're going to still try and hit the Kerch Bridge. This obsession with Crimea. This comes from Nuland. This obsession with Crimea. This is Nuland's obsession. It really is, because during the Maidan 2014, Nuland she sent some Western Ukraine banderites to move towards Crimea. And the people of Crimea, they stopped these Western Banderites from getting into Crimea and causing chaos. Then the Russians stepped in, the Russian military, which was already in Crimea. They didn't have to go anywhere. There were already 20,000 troops in Crimea. They got activated, and they stopped the Banderites from causing all kinds of chaos in Crimea. And Nuland, she's never been able to get over that, right? For the neocons, Crimea is this big strategic, uber super important piece on the chessboard. And it is. It is a very important piece on the chessboard if you look at it the way the neocons look at the world. That's how they see the world, as one big game, one big chessboard. But they haven't been able to get over Crimea. And this is Nuland. This is the neocon obsession with Crimea. And they believe by hitting the Kerch Bridge or taking out the Kerch Bridge, that solves everything. It solves nothing. It solves nothing. Even if they were to take out the Kerch Bridge, Russia's got this land bridge now. They're building a huge highway as well to connect Russia with the new oblast, with the new provinces, with Crimea. I mean, this whole Kerch Bridge is, for Elensky, this is like a media win, because Elensky, in his mind, if I can hit the Kerch Bridge, then I can go back to Nuland and the neocons, and they'll give me money. For Elensky, he's created this connection. Actually, we shouldn't put it on Elensky. It really isn't his fault. The collective West, they've conditioned Elensky to create this connection. If I gain territory at whatever cost, or if I hit a Crimea at whatever cost, then I'll get money. He's created this connection. There's no military strategic value in any of this stuff. The gaining of empty territory, using missiles that you don't have to hit targets in Crimea that serve zero military value. There's nothing in these actions that help Ukraine to actually move towards some sort of win in this conflict. But for Elensky, it's all about money. If I do this, I get money. Gain territory, money. Send a missile into Crimea, money. That's the connection that he's created. That's what he told The Economist. The goal is still to isolate Crimea. But now the Ukraine military, they have to go on the defense. And what else? One last thing that he told The Economist that I'm missing. Oh, yes. He told The Economist that the big super duper counteroffensive, it failed because it got leaked. The plan got leaked out. So the Russians knew what to expect. If I was the journalist, if I was like the person interviewing Elensky and he told me that, I would be like, yeah, you leaked it out. You, Kirby, Blinken, Biden, Podolyak, Budanov, Zaluzhny, everybody, Ursula, Borrell, Macron, Schultz, Baerbock, all of you guys went on and on and on for 6-9 months, on and on and on about the big super duper counteroffensive and exactly where you're going to move towards. You're the guys that leaked it out. Elensky's like, yeah, it didn't work because the information about the big super duper counteroffensive got leaked out. It's like, dude. Hello? Hello? Oh, man. All right, so that was the interview that Elensky gave to The Economist. Quite a start to 2024. So Putin, he visited a military hospital, and he visited servicemen in a military hospital in Russia and Putin made some interesting statements. He said that the real enemy to Russia is not Ukraine. Ukraine itself is not a foe, but the Western elites backing it are, the Russian president said. The point is not that they are helping our enemy, but that they are our enemy. They are solving their own problems with Ukraine's hands. That's what it's all about, Putin stated. And that's what Elensky admitted in this interview with The Economist, right? If you guys want to preserve your unipolar moment, if you want to preserve your power over the world, then give us money. Elensky said it to The Economist, and that's what Putin is saying in this statement. So he said that while he was at this military hospital. And then Putin actually, he gave a statement with regards to the recent attacks against Belgorod and Donetsk city. And Putin said that Russia will retaliate, but unlike Ukraine, they're not going to retaliate by hitting at civilian infrastructure. Putin said they're going to hit military infrastructure, and that is what happened yesterday. We had a huge drone and missile strike throughout all Ukraine, and actually I think the missile strikes, they started just a couple of hours ago, and they basically hit throughout the entirety of Ukraine. Of course, the Elensky regime, they claim, at least with regards to the drones, that Russia launched 35 Shahed drones, and the Elensky regime, the military, they shot down all 35 of those drones. So 100%, according to the Ukraine military. 35 out of 35. And one thing, actually two things that Russia did end up hitting in the west of Ukraine, in Lvov, hold some NAZI historic significance for the Banderites in West Ukraine. The Russian military, on Bandera's birthday, Russian drones destroyed the university where Bandera studied, as well as the museum dedicated to Roman Shukhevych, two NAZIs who fought alongside the Mustache Man, who collaborated with the Mustache Man and committed some of the most horrible, unspeakable atrocities against Jews, Poles, and Russians. And in Lviv, they have a museum dedicated to one of these guys, and the university where the other guy studied. Some of the nastiest people in all of history, as Shukhevych and Bandera. Anyway, let's move on. A definite message from the Russian military, no doubt about it. This is a very big message, I believe, from Russia to not only Ukraine, but to the collective West. This is a big message. The Times of UK, they are reporting that, so we've talked about denazification. Well, the Times of UK, they are reporting that Britain has been completely demilitarized. They've got nothing left, according to the Times. Britain's weapons stockpiles reduced to nothing. The paper quoted an unnamed Ukrainian source as saying London is now mostly persuading other nations to donate their arms to Kiev. Britain's weapons stockpiles have been nearly completely emptied out by almost 2 years of deliveries to Ukraine, the Times has reported. The British newspaper also claimed that the UK, together with other Western European nations, is scrambling to ramp up arms productions ahead of 2024 presidential election in the US. So I've read these reports, which claim that the UK, because it doesn't have any more weapons to give, it's completely been demilitarized. The UK has now taken on the task of running around Europe, actually running around the entire world, and begging countries to give weapons to the Elensky regime, or begging countries in Europe to find a way to ramp up weapons production. That's what the UK is now doing. That is pretty pathetic, pretty sad, but the UK has been completely demilitarized. Denazification, demilitarization. Putin kept his word. He is keeping his word. So let's now love 2024. Good message. So let's do a quick story on the war in Gaza. According to Israeli Defense Forces official spokesman Daniel Hagari, the IDF spokesman, the war in Gaza will not end in 2024. The war is going to continue throughout 2024, but the war is going to shift its strategy, its focus, and it's going to move from, I imagine this is what the plan is, it's going to move from high intensity to low intensity, which is what Blinken was telling the Netanyahu administration to do when he visited Israel a few weeks ago. So here is the statement. Let me pull it up for you. From the IDF spokesman, Hagari, the goals of the war require lengthy fighting, and we are prepared accordingly. He said, explaining that sending the reservists back home will result in considerable relief for the economy and will allow them to gain strength for operations next year, and the fighting will continue and we will need them. He is describing the change as a strategic shift to what he calls the smart management of IDF troops. So IDF troops are being sent home. It looks like Israel's going to shift from what they call high intensity to what Blinken calls low intensity. Make of it what you want. And they're digging in for a lengthy, long war that will last throughout 2024. So that is the latest there. And then we have this shocking story. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but if you do see the video of this next story, it's pretty gruesome. So just make a note of that. The South Korean opposition candidate to the current government, he was the opposition party leader, Lee Jae-myung. He was at an event, a campaign event, and he was stabbed in the neck. It is a gruesome video, an absolutely gruesome video, but it looks like this guy in the crowd was pretending to approach the opposition party leader for like an autograph or something like that, and he just stabbed him right in the neck. Now he's been taken to a hospital. I don't know what his condition is, to be quite honest. So let's hope he makes it through this. But wow, what a What a horrific attack on the opposition leader in the opposition party leader in South Korea. And this guy was this opposition party leader was pro relations with China, pro rapprochement with North Korea, trying to solve the problems with North Korea, and he got stabbed in the neck. Here's an article from Bloomberg. Korea's Trump rises in polls as voters' anger fuels populism. Lee wants to meet North Korean leader. Break up conglomerates. City mayor moves up to third in polls for next president. So he was, as Bloomberg calls him, Korea's Trump. Korea's Trump. 2024, everybody. This is going to be this is a year of many elections and the populist leaders. They need to. I'm just not even going to say it. Say they need to be careful, but this is a horrific story, an absolutely horrific story. And the video was horrible. The video is absolutely horrible. Anyway, let's. I don't even really have a clown world, to be quite honest, because I think my whole first segment was clown world enough. But a couple more stories. With 2024, we have new BRICS members without Argentina, so they are now members of BRICS. Russia is now the president. They are assuming the role of president for BRICS. So that happens today. Actually, that happened yesterday. So that's an interesting piece of news. And for the new year, we had a whole bunch of arrests in France and Germany. What is being called New Year anarchy. Police in Berlin detained nearly 400 people and seized Molotov cocktails. Now, let me read you a paragraph from this story about the New Year's anarchy chaos in France and Germany. Police in France and Germany made hundreds of arrests over New Year's Eve as mobs torched vehicles and shot fireworks at officers. Nevertheless, authorities in both countries described the night as more peaceful than last year. I read articles saying that the total arrests in Paris and Berlin were something like 750 to 1,000, and it was just chaos. But it's good to know that they were more peaceful than last year, huh? Oh boy. Good to know that they were more peaceful than last year. All right, everyone. That is the video. The Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop. 20% off. Use the code TheDuran20. Take care.